Okay, I'm here. This is the Ripper. Mardi. This is the boy Mardi, and this is the girl Ripper, and this is their roadmap to success. Now, the video above really encapsulates the separation anxiety stuff, so I'm not going to talk about that here, other than to say the most important thing with that separation anxiety is your dog is not showing signs of distress. So if your dog is whimpering, whining, drooling, pacing, any other indicators that it's uncomfortable, back up to a previous level of success, or make the exercise, the part of that exercise easier, or maybe call it a break for a little while. If it gets heavy, sometimes your dogs get frustrated and man, we're just practice. That's one thing that's nice to do is after practice, do some of the things your dog absolutely love. So after we practice this a little bit, we go for a walk, I give you some belly rubs or whatever the case may be. All right, now we started off talking about marker words. And the guardian is a little bit concerned that she's not going to have good timing on it. I'm very confident in her that she's going to have amazing timing. So for the marker words, remember you're saying yes the instant the dog does something that you like, unless the something that you like has duration, like teaching your dog to stay or potty. In those situations, we would say yes at the conclusion of the length of the stay or when the dog finishes going potty. Also be mindful of your inflection. There's a difference between yes and yes. That really excited will also often cause dogs to get up and move, and that works against you for the stay. So we're going to use the marker words whenever the dog does things that we like, whether we ask for it or the dog does it on her own. So if I'm sitting here and Mardi comes up to me, I'm just going to say yes and pet him under his chin. Remember to pet under the chin, on the chest, or on the shoulders and try to avoid reaching over the head. Watch for those cutoff signals. So if you're interacting with your dog and it turns its head to the side, lowers its head, backs away, bares its teeth, refuses to come to you, freezes, runs away, it's saying you don't have my consent. So whenever I want to gauge consent is I hold my hand up like this. And the fact that the dog came over says I have consent. And at any point she could turn her head away, and that's her way of saying, she might just stretching and turn her head, but if she turns her head away and I get the feeling she wants me to be done, my job is to listen to what she's saying and stop interacting with her. All right, so that's a little bit of consent. So we also went over hand targeting as a way of understanding that. Since the guardian's a little bit worried about that, and I have a video for all this stuff, but I'm going to show you a quick little hand target demo, just so you remember all the little pieces. So, and I'm going to need a couple more of these to get ready. Yes, you both want to do this? We can do it with one of each. All right, so what we're going to do is, remember your dog's eyes are going to be attracted to movement. So if I go like this, I don't get the same response if I go like this. Yes. So you're saying yes the instant the nose touches your hand. Yes. And make sure you're doing it nose level. You notice here I went lower for Mardi and higher for her. If I hold it up here, that promotes jumping. Then I switch it with my other hand and I chop a little further away. Boop. Yes. And now that time I added in the cue, and we'll talk about the hand in a minute. So the cue, we don't want to say a cue or a command word is what we used to refer to them as until I'm 90% certain the dog's going to do it. So if I'm not sure, if I'm teaching a dog, what I might do is lure the dog in an SIT. You're making it neat. There you go. You're off camera now. So let's try that again. So I lure the dog into an SIT, yes, and then give a treat. And then I lure the dog over here, yes. And it should start getting easier as we're doing this. Yes. So now I'm pretty certain that I can get the dog to sit, so I'm going to go like this. Sit. Yes. So I sneak that cue in when I'm pretty certain 90% or better the dog's going to do what I want. So for hand targeting, now that the dog's following along, now I can introduce the cue. So I say boop as I throw my hand, yes, when the dog touches his nose to my hand, and then I put the treat on my hand that's still here. Then I put it in my other hand, boop, yes, and put the treat there. Now eventually I should be able to go like this and go boop, and don't have to say the yes. There's nothing wrong with it. Most people do continue saying yes, but if I say boop and throw my hand and she touches her nose to my hand, that's what I want. So I really technically don't need to use the marker word because she's doing what I want. There's nothing wrong with that. Now for her, somebody taught her to shake. Shake is the first thing everybody teaches a dog. It literally should be the last thing you teach your dog. You shouldn't teach your dog to have self-control. She promotes pawing and jumping up and other things. So for her, when I first did this with Ripper, the first couple of times I did, she touched my hand with her paw just like that. So I didn't respond. I didn't correct, but she didn't get the reward. And then I tried to hold it a little bit higher, yes. And I made it a little bit easier so that she could do it. Eventually I want to be able to chop further and further away so I can chop like this and go, boop. Yes. So you're making it progressively harder, but again, just like the separation anxiety, keep it in short don't jump too big. Go at your dog's pace. All right, so that was hand targeting. And the hand targeting is a good way to judge if a dog has consent. So if you have a guest come over and you don't think that she's comfortable with that, have the guest go boop. If she doesn't come over and she knows how to do it, that could be an indication she doesn't feel comfortable. All right, now she's also pawing at my hand right now. She's saying, give me those treats, damn it, which is kind of, now she's not rude, but this is an opportunity to teach a dog manners. So when she does this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, sit, yes. So she's demanding attention from me, pawing. I mean, demand is maybe a strong word, but she's asking in a way that is not super desirable. So when she does that, just like our parents do when we're little kids, Mommy, go make me some pizza. You want to ask for that again? Mommy, can you please make some pizza? As a little kid, your mom usually goes and does it to let you know that, yes, asking in a nice, polite way and then do-over gets you what you want. And so there you go. I like that interaction. So basically, next time that she paws at you like that, tell her to sit. If she's already sitting, tell her to sit over here, or tell her to lay down. Do not tell her to shake. If she does it within the 2 seconds of the first note, so if I say sit, yes, then I can pet or give a treat, which is what she wants now. If I say sit and she does not sit, and I know she knows how to sit, I just go back to what I'm doing. I'm sculpting something, I'm writing a song, I'm checking some emails, talking to a friend, watching TV. She's the one missing out now. That will make her more motivated to listen to you the next time. So after a while, she'll start coming and sitting in front of you to prepare for the attention. When she does, make sure you say your mark word and pet her under the chin. Otherwise, she's going to go back and nudging you, pawing at you, because that's what works. Essentially, we're teaching the dog proper manners and a different replacement behavior to get the attention that she wants. Now, we also talked about celebrating, which is just rewarding the dog when it does it on its own. Yes, I didn't ask her to touch my hand there, but she did it. That's a desirable thing. Eye contact, looking in the eyes, coming to you, sitting down, laying down, going to the dog bed, going to the kennel, drinking water, going poop. Anything you want your dogs to do that they do on their own, when they do them on their own without any prompting from you, make sure you're mindful of it, watch for it, say your mark word, and pet them. Dogs want attention. Most of us don't realize that good attention and bad attention from us is pretty much the same thing. So your dog gets used to doing the desirable things to get your attention. You're going to be much happier with your dog because they're not doing all those little things that, although you still love your dog, it's annoying when she paws at my hand like this. It's not for me, but it might be. Or she might scratch my hand up with her nails or knock a drink over or something like that. She's just saying, I want attention because we haven't taught her proper way of asking for things. So sit. That's, yes. Now, she wants the treats, but she didn't sit right away, so I want to reward a little bit, but I'm not going to give her the treat because that's a higher reward, but I do want to acknowledge and let her know that she did something I want, so I give her a reward. This is better than nothing, isn't it? She's like, it would be much better with the treat. Okay, we also talked about, so really be in a habit of doing this. When your dog paws at you or nudges at you, you tell your dog to sit or lay down. If your dog does things that you want, you celebrate them within that 2-second window. And the more you do that, the more your dogs will offer your behavior. And now you've taught them manners. And we also talked about exercise. Most of us don't exercise the dog enough. The guardian here does a good job of exercising. But because the dogs have separation anxiety, I think it'd be helpful if she could do a little bit more. So we talked about playing tug of war is a nice alternative way of getting physical exercise. The guardian here knows that sniffing on walks is the name of the game. It burns more energy out if the dog sniffs considerably than if they walk only. We also talked about something else you could do for her. Now she's older, so check with your vet, make sure your vet is comfortable with it. They make doggy backpacks. It's a harness that has pockets right here. You can put bottles of water. Well, if I'm carrying something, that is going to make me tired quicker. It's more efficient of a workout. But for older dogs, they might have mobility issues. The vet might not want your dog to do that. We want to do no harm. But there's also mental stimulation. So we went over, the guardian has a snuffle mat, but it's probably maybe not the world's best snuffle mat. And so we talked about getting one. The one that I get, if you can't find it, message me, I can send you a link. But look for the ones that have those tassels, but they're all standing up and there's a band all the way around it. That's the best one to get because when you drop the food in, it goes in those crevices. Now your dog has to work for its food. That boosts your dog's confidence and self-esteem. That will also drain energy. Also getting a I think it's Omega Paw Tricky Treat Ball is that orange ball, that video I showed you. Get one of those, get a large one. Put her kibble in it, let her roll that around. Get some lick mats, yes. Yes, that's 2 examples of celebrating. I didn't ask her to sit when she did. I said yes, gave her a treat. Didn't ask him to come to me, but he did, so I said yes and gave him a treat. Get in a habit of doing that. It's really powerful. All right, for mental stimulation, training is a great way to drain energy. Scent games. I went over cooking in the corner with you here. Remember to say come after they've done it. So first I throw one treat, find it, and throw one treat, then I find, and then say come when they come back and say the marker word. So you're saying the marker word every time they get a treat, which is unusual. Usually it's for the action. And then they come back when they arrive, yes, and then I get another treat because I'm saying come. So we're sneaking in that other exercise. Make sure that you are practicing that in areas that you like, but eventually you can just leave treats there. And again, I have videos for cooking the corner, so message me if you want all the ins and outs. I'm happy to share that with you. I also want the guardian to Google scent games. There are a number of games that she can hide something around the house. The dog has to run around the house using its nose to find it. That drains a lot of energy. She also might want to look into barn hunts. Which is basically they have like in places where they'll have little tubes that go around and they put a mouse or a rat in that tube and it runs around the house. The dog has to use its nose to find in the barn or the house or whatever it is. So I'm sure there are versions of it here in LA. Do not get the one where she gets to kill the mouse. That's not ethically appropriate. And make sure the dog, they're good ethics about it. If they're doing that, they're like, well, they're mice. Well, yeah, but I don't want my dog to practice killing. That's okay. This is just for her, just for you. Also, with the petting with the purpose and the celebrating, or the petting when the dog paws at you and rewarding the dogs when they do what they want. If you get in the habit of doing those things, 4 important things happen every time you pet your dog. First of all, it helps the dog practice whatever that behavior is. Number 2, it reinforces that listening to you is a rewardable thing. Number 3, it boosts the dog's confidence because I earned this treat. I didn't just get it for looking good. Number 4, it makes your pets more valuable. You're not giving them out for no reason. You're doing that to signify the dog does something you want. Now you can also sit down and love on your dogs and rub their bellies without having to do anything. That's totally fine as well. But if they're nudging you, we want to make sure redirect them into appropriate behavior or pawing at you or whatever it is. Skateboard. And then when they're doing these things that we want, just like when we were little kids, we get a gold star for sharing our milk box with our neighbor. So rewarding the dogs for those things is really powerful. Okay, so I want the guardian to find a couple of scent games that she can practice on a regular basis. And she might find, since Ripper is so into scent, that might be really opening a Pandora's box where now Ripper has 25 different things to learn to use my nose. She's got a good sniffer, probably better than his. And that might be a great way. You need to find some sports that you can get involved in, or some clubs that do sniff work and scent work, and that might be a great way to invigorating for your dog. Let me see, we also talked about the importance of rules. The importance of rules is just to have the dog practice a little self-restraint. If I'm just used to running out every open door or jumping up on people when they're preparing food or whatever it is, I don't have any practice or relation to controlling myself. Separation anxiety is an anxiety, but also having some self-control can really help in that regard. So we talked about Premax. Premax principle means that a less desirable behavior earns you more desirable behavior. So if you get done with this project early, you can leave work early, your boss says, that's a Premax. I don't want to do this project, but I want to leave early. So it motivates you. So for that, I usually tell the dog at the door, sit. And if the dog sits, then I open the door and we go out for a walk. If it doesn't sit, I walk away, sit down for 1 minute, then I go back and try again. Sit, 1-2 seconds, don't sit within 2 seconds. Walk away and sit down for 2 minutes, next time I sit down for 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Keep sitting or laying down like this partner right here until eventually when you say sit, the dog sits and then the door opens up. So make sure you have a leash on at a time. I would also recommend that when the guardian is in the kitchen preparing food, the dogs are not allowed to cross the line here. And then if you're eating food, it shouldn't be within 7 feet of you. Now, I can't really get up and move around without getting out of the shot, but I'm going to show you how to keep the dog out of the kitchen. So let's say this is the kitchen, I'm in the hallway, I'm right here. Right here is the kitchen that's over there. So what I would do is I have the dogs, well actually let's say I'm in the kitchen, this is the hallway. So you're in the kitchen, your toes are right there, the dogs are right here where that spike ball is, and well, right out here. What you're going to do is take a step back in the kitchen, turn around, come back, yes, and give the dog a treat, provided they didn't get up and come towards you. Then repeat that 2 or 3 times. Then I take 2 steps back in the kitchen, and walk back, yes, and give them that treat. 3 steps, 4 steps. You saw that I had a treat. And she's like, I want to get some treats too. You'll just get some love. And so the idea is eventually you're walking all the way. This is a mammoth kitchen. You guys understand there's like 12 ovens in here and like a deep freeze and all sorts of stuff. But you're gonna walk all the way in your kitchen until you can walk all the way to the wall. Then and you're walking backwards. Once you get to the where your oven is, then I'd like you to come back, give your dog his treats. Next time, go ahead and when you're right here, turn around, give them their back, walk to the stove, turn around, walk back, and give them the attention. We want to prepare them. We're not always walking backwards. Then eventually I would walk in the kitchen, touch the refrigerator door, then come back and give them both the treats. Then open the door a crack, close it, and come back and give them treats. Open it a little bit more, then close it, give them treats. Eventually you can open it all the way, take a lunch meat, put it on the counter, close it. The dogs are staying outside. We're saying the marker word to say staying outside the kitchen is what I want. But like the stay video that we taught in the separation video above, we're going at the dog's pace. So if you just go in there and walk 10 paces away and then turn your back to the dog, they're gonna run in. So we have to go little by little by little. It takes more time, it's tedious, but the benefit of this is that you're teaching your dog a lifelong skill that once you've achieved it, you don't have to come back and practice it. You do a half-hearted job of dog training, which a lot of people do, you're doing the other half the rest of the dog's life. Let me see, what else? We want to relieve it cue, practice that one a little bit. It's another self-control exercise. If you're interested in doing the bucket game or it's your choice, which are a couple other self-control exercises, message me. I'm happy to share videos for you. You can work on those as well. But try to work on that separation anxiety stuff, all 3 stages of that, so, or 3 or 4. Exercise, desensitizing the triggers, departure ritual, and teaching your dog to stay. So there are 4. Practice those all concurrently, just not all one after the other. Practice stay for a little while. An hour later, practice your departure a little. Throughout the day, just get up and leave and come back or pick up your keys. But the idea is get those done throughout the day so that the dog just, man, you just leave and come back, leave and come back. It's just something we do all day long. I'm just, oh, whatever, man, I don't care anymore. That's the whole point. And so if you just, okay, I'm gonna spend 3 minutes training right now. Okay, that 3 minutes I'm on board. The rest of the day, I'm worried you're gonna leave. So that's why it's best to kind of have it ebb and flow all over everything. All right, now if you have any questions, please let me know. If I don't hear from you, I assume that means everything's going great. Ripper, can you come over here for the sign-off video? Would you like a treat? Here you go. What if, does jealousy work? It evidently works very well. Ripper, go get that one so they can see your face when you come back here. Ripper, sit. Yes. And how about you, Marty? Sit. This is Marty, this is Ripper, I'm David, and this is the roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, or dogs, only sometimes you mean it.